Homily for the fourth Sunday of Advent, Year B. I am the handmaid of the Lord. Our readings for this Sunday are from 2nd book of Samuel, chapter 7, verse 1 to 5, 8 to 12, and 14 to 16. Romans chapter 16, verse 25 to 27, and the Gospel of St. Luke, chapter 1, verse 26 to 38. The first reading from the 2nd book of Samuel is on the promise that God made to David that an everlasting king shall arise from his lineage. This promise was fulfilled in the infant king Jesus. In the second reading, St. Paul discusses the mystery hidden through the ages, the mystery of the Son of God becoming the Son of Man, so that the children of men may become children of God. In the Gospel reading, we reflect on the event of the Annunciation, the angel Gabriel's message from God to Mary, and her positive response, which paved the way for the momentous event of the Incarnation. Mary's yes to God's call. When the angel visited Mary, he addressed her in a rather unusual way. "Hail, Mary, full of grace." She was surprised by this greeting, but certainly even more surprised by the message that the angel conveyed. Yet she responded in a manner that changed the course of human history. The promise of everlasting kingship was made to King David, but it was in Mary, the lowly Virgin of Nazareth, that the promise was fulfilled. David and Mary shared several characteristics, including love of and closeness to God, as well as absolute faith and trust in Him. Mary emptied herself. She emptied herself completely to be full of God's grace. She believed in God simply because He is God. She humbled herself before God. She saw herself as a lowly handmaid and trusted that God knows best. She placed herself totally at God's disposal and made a free choice to obey God's will. Her yes response to the messenger of God can be interpreted as follows: "Yes, here I am, Lord. Yes, I am available. Yes, I accept. And yes, I will do as you say." With this spectacular act of obedience, Mary overturned the original sin of disobedience committed by Adam and Eve. Mary overcame the primitive human addiction exhibited in Adam and Eve, the inordinate desire to take control of our own lives. Mary surrendered her life into God's hands. As a young girl, she must have had plans for her life and her future, but even without knowing the full ramifications of God's call, she yielded and submitted to God's own plans. She made a commitment that was driven by love and trust, a commitment that was going to entail pain and long suffering, a commitment that was going to consume her entire life. Our own yes to God's call. God has called each one of us in the same way He called the Blessed Virgin Mary. We have said yes to God's call on several occasions, including the occasion of our baptism, our confirmation, our matrimony, and our ordination. We have said yes to God each time we participate in the sacrament of reconciliation and in the Eucharist. As in the case of Mary, our initial yes was often like a leap in the dark. We often did not know the full ramifications. When the challenges of life begin to unfold, such as a life-threatening illness or disease, failure in business and career, crisis in marriage, childlessness or challenging children, as well as misfortunes and tragedies, how do we respond? Do we remain faithful to God as Mary was, or do we, in adversity, give up and take our fate in our own hands? As we go through the challenges of life, we are called upon to respond like Mary, always acknowledging that God is the potter and we are just the clay. We are called upon to surrender our lives and our fortunes into God's hands and allow Him to mold us each day in accordance with His inscrutable design. This does not mean that we cannot express some fears, some concerns and doubts. Yet, like Mary, we are challenged to deal with these doubts and concerns by asking questions and seeking clarification. While asking such questions or nursing such doubts, we must nevertheless recognize that we are in the realm of mystery, and so certain realities will always be beyond our understanding. We must recognize that faith transcends reason. Though it does not contradict reason, faith transcends reason. If, like Mary, we allow God to be God, His awesome plans for us will eventually be revealed, and we will enjoy the bliss that comes with submission and surrender to a loving and compassionate Father. God promised David that He would establish an everlasting kingdom from David's lineage, and this promise was fulfilled in Jesus, who was born to the family of Joseph, descendants of King David. Mary, the mother of Jesus, played a critical role in fulfilling this prophecy by her unique response to God's call and by her spectacular faith and trust in, as well as submission to God's will. We are challenged today to emulate our Mother Mary and yield to God's will in every aspect of our lives, so that through us, God's will may be done in the world as it is done in heaven. May God bless you.